pretty amazing. I would have never thought that when I first started baseball, this is going to be where I ended up. So I think it's a great opportunity for girls playing baseball.
Welcome to episode 338 of Alberta Dugout Stories, the podcast. I'm Joe McFarland, and this is a very special edition of the show as we're dedicating it entirely to National Girls in Baseball Week. This is such a great opportunity to put a spotlight on the female game in our country as it continues to grow, and we're proud to have always been an ally for elevating their stories. 2025 is another big year for the girls and female game on a number of fronts. First and foremost, for the first time ever, girls baseball will be part of the Canada Summer Games. We'll talk about Alberta and Saskatchewan's roster and chat with players from both teams in just a few minutes. We also have the new 19U National Championship, which was originally the 21U division, which is being held at Weber Academy just outside Calgary, July 31st to August 3rd. The Women's Open Championship, meantime, is being held a week later in Quebec, and that's where Baseball Canada picks its upcoming women's national team roster. We also have the annual 14U Girls Western Canada Baseball Association Championships in Saskatoon, August 15th to 17th. Baseball Alberta did unveil both their 14U and 19U rosters as well this week. You can check out our socials for more on those. There will also be several Alberta girls attending the Baseball for All National Championship in Nevada in July, which we'll be hoping to catch up with some of those players later on in the season. And coming up in 2026, an even bigger storyline will be unfolding as the Pro Women's Baseball League is set to officially launch, providing yet another opportunity for all girls to dream big on the baseball scene. We have several guests coming up on the show this week, but we'll start with the Baseball Alberta Girls League. Started in 2023 with 3 teams, the goal was to give girls the opportunity to play against other girls. It's now grown to 18 teams across 3 divisions, with teams from Beaumont, Edmonton, Edson, Fort McMurray, Grand Prairie, Grand Cache, Hinton, Lacombe, and Rocky Mountain House. Among the first on board with the idea was Beaumont, where Tracy McEachern has taken over as the female director. She's excited about the growth and what's to come.
Tracy, thanks so much for joining us here on the show.
Well, thank you so much for asking me to join.
Quite the program you've had out in Beaumont over the last few years. You're leading the province in registration numbers again. First question is, what's been key to your success?
I think for Beaumont is we are giving them the chance to play on an all-girls team against all girls. And that's what has been attracting them and also retaining them. We have been in the Baseball Alberta Girls League. This is our 3rd season. And the first season, there were only 3 communities, ourselves, Edson, and Rocky Mountain House. And then our girls were on an all-girls team, but they were playing co-ed. And they only had a couple opportunities to play against these all-girls teams. Last year rolled around, and Baseball Alberta was able to attract more communities. And at our 12U level, they were like, nope, that's it. We don't want to play co-ed. We want to play all girls all the time. So we did that with them. And now this 3rd year, Baseball Alberta was able to introduce the 14U program in. And our 14Us were like, yeah, we want to do that too. We don't want to play co-ed anymore. We just want to play all girls all the time. So being able to offer that to the girls is really, I think, is the biggest thing to retaining them and has our program growing.
Mm-hmm. How cool is it from your standpoint to see the growth of that? I mean, like you said, that first year, it's 1 division, it's 3 teams, and now I think it's 18 teams in total across the 3 different age brackets.
Oh, it's wonderful. It's just absolutely wonderful. It speaks volumes for our girls and for the women leaders out there that are able to make this happen.
Mm-hmm. When you talk to the different programs in other communities and that, what's been sort of your main message to them, or what's been their response to being able to take part in something like this?
Well, I've had a couple questions like, how are you guys able to do it? And I think just do it. Just jump right in, both feet. Have representation on your board and actually have the board make it meaningful. It's not just, someone sitting in a chair. Make that a meaningful position where you can actually do things. And I've been really lucky. We have an absolutely supportive board. So I don't have an issue in that regard that maybe other communities may or may not. I'm not sure. I can't speak for them.
Mm-hmm.
But just do it. What we have done is we hold a come try it session every spring, a couple of them, and just invite girls to come try it. And a lot of times they love the feel of playing with other girls, and we get them to try on a team.
You mentioned something earlier about how it's one thing to kind of get girls into the game in the first place and just get them to try it, but it's another to get them to keep coming back. That's one thing that was alluded to me when I was told, hey, you got to talk to Tracy about this. What's been, aside from obviously giving them the different offerings, has there been anything that you think has really helped keep them along, as far as whether it's the coaching, whether it's the atmosphere? Walk us through what you think has been key to the retention piece.
One thing that we're trying to do is also remove any barriers to keeping them. And one thing that was implemented this season is we changed the color of their pants. It used to be all white, and girls statistically around the age of puberty are when the registration numbers start to drop off.
Mm-hmm.
So we just removed that barrier altogether and brought in dark colored pants, and that was it. So that was one reason. We also really, I think I already said this, we've given them the opportunity to play girls against all girls.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just that's the huge part. Girls need to, and I have boy-girl twins who are 10.
Mm-hmm.
So I really, really see this firsthand. This is so true. Girls need to feel like they belong before they perform, whereas boys first perform and then get acceptance, and then they feel a sense of belonging. So I think, too, with our fabulous coaches, they're making these girls feel like baseball's for them, too. This isn't just a boys' thing. And they're feeling included, and they're making bonds, and they want to see the girls the next year again. So it's just, that is what is keeping them come back.
You kind of alluded to it there as well. As a mom, what's it mean to you to be able to see your daughter playing and enjoying the game and being able to see your kids flourish in the game as well?
I'm sorry, what was that?
As I was just saying, as a mom, you kind of alluded to it. What's it meant to you to be able to see your daughter playing, as an example, or see the kids enjoy the game as much as you've been able to over the course of the last few years here?
Oh my gosh, it is so amazing to see the growth in these girls. Like, the trepidation they had at the beginning of the season, and then once they make these bonds, and then they are able to perform. Then they do the skills, but it's absolutely been incredible. Like the growth that we see on the girls' teams.
Must be something else too. You and I were talking about this off air a little bit, but this is kind of an accident, or a happy accident to a certain extent, right? Because baseball wasn't something that you grew up doing or anything like that. This is something you took on because your kids were involved and were liking it.
Exactly. I had absolutely no idea. The position for female director had come up, and all I knew is my daughter loved it. And I did not want this program to go away. So I went to a board meeting and said, I don't know anything about baseball. Do I have to know anything about baseball? And as I said before, we have an extremely supportive board, and they're like, no, that's fine. So I just kind of jumped into it. This is to show you how green I was. I'm embarrassed to say this, but I actually had to ask how many players are there on a team.
Mm-hmm.
What is the name of teams? So I knew nothing. And I guess that's my advice too to anyone that wants to start all girls programming. You don't have to know. Just do it. You'll get the support out there from, people that do know, but just don't hesitate. Just jump in and do it. They will come.
How key was that support system and the people who were running the show before? Because one of the things that was pointed out to me is you're such a good advocate. You're such a good person for the position in terms of getting kids on board and getting girls to stay in the game and that kind of stuff. And you kind of mentioned it off air as well, as you had a great foundation that was laid before you.
Very true. Yes. The women who came before me, they're the trailblazers. They absolutely laid down the foundation. They're the ones who decided to let's do all girls teams in the beginning and then take it as far as they could. So with that, I was then able to build on that foundation. I didn't have the difficulties that perhaps they may have had. So it really kudos to them for what they've done.
Absolutely. It's National Girls in Baseball Week. What went through your mind first when you heard this initiative was starting up?
I think it's fantastic. Again, it's time that girls are recognized as baseball players as well. So I think it's wonderful that then it's going to be recognized nationally.
And it's a big year for the game as well. We've got girls baseball being a part of the Canada Summer Games for the first time, of the first professional women's baseball league slated to start next year. How integral are things like that in convincing girls to stay even longer in the game in your eyes, and knowing that they have something that maybe they can aspire to be a part of down the road?
Well, that's exactly it. It's not just, you hit after you do, like say in Alberta, the 16U join Alberta team, perhaps then a team for Team Canada after that, and then, okay, thanks, you're done. Now there are things for them to keep going on to and aspire to.
Final question for you. If there was one thing we could do a better job of, whether it's as a province or as a society, when it comes to the girls' game, especially as we try to keep this momentum going, what would it be in your eyes?
Remove any barriers that can be thought of to help either, again, having them join and having them retaining them in the sport.
As a follow-up, what do you think some of those barriers are?
Well, certainly facilities, making sure that they have access to washrooms and they're stocked. Again, uniform. You don't want the light-colored uniforms to deter them from joining or staying. I think, too, just the verbiage around baseball, make it more gender neutral, like it's not just a boys' baseball. I think there's always been this misconception that boys play baseball, girls play softball. Just have it baseball.
Absolutely. Play ball indeed, and you've done a great job of it in Beaumont. Tracy, really appreciate you taking the time to dive into what's been going well and what's to come in Beaumont. Really appreciate it. Thanks so much for joining us here on the show.
Well, thank you for having me.
While they might not be part of Baseball Canada, Little League Alberta is also doing its part to grow the female game. Centennial Little League and Calgary board member Kimberley Jordan is also the co-director of the successful Girls with Game YYC program. They have an annual clinic every spring that has continued to grow over the years, and they've also been promoting the Little League Alberta Girls Jamboree, which is set for July 24th to 27th in Lethbridge.
Kimberley, thanks so much for joining us here on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Hard to believe it's been about a month since your annual Girls with Game event. Let's go back to that to start things off. Tell us about that day and how it all went.
Our annual event was probably our most successful event up to date. We had over 50 girls registered for the camp, which is up significantly. I think we kind of averaged just under 20 in previous years, so huge growth in enrollment. We're also able to open it up and make it a free event this year. We had some sponsorship with Service Credit Union, so that was a really great boost. And we used lots of different avenues to help share, like social media, and CJ92 actually gave us a great shout out on the radio that helped bolster our engagement as well. So I would say it was a huge success this year.
Very cool. How amazing is it to have seen that event evolve and grow over the last few seasons, as you've mentioned?
Well, it's interesting because I've only joined the Centennial Little League board in November. So this event was happening previously, and their board member who was helping to run and create that engagement was Sydney Moore, who is instrumental in women's ball, and definitely want to make sure we mention her. So she was the pioneer of having this in the previous years. She is herself also a baseball player, and I believe going for nationals this year, as she's I think she's aged out of the women's Unite team side. Don't quote me on that, but so she's instrumental. She's fantastic. She's a coach with another association in the city. She volunteers a lot of her time. She's just amazing. So we actually had some inside help. She helped us out with a lot of the planning, gave us a lot of previous knowledge, and shared that down with us. So we were really, really lucky and blessed to have that extra information. But I definitely I would say from what I've heard from previous years and kind of read in the meeting minutes that there was just a massive growth this year. Huge growth in the girls involved in the enrollment.
I assume you were there. Walk us through what it's like watching the faces glow and that kind of thing as they're getting to be a part of something special and part of a team kind of thing.
Something that I found really, really heartwarming for me is you get these little girls, like we try and open it up and we really want to see the younger girls coming in, because the whole idea is the younger we get them started, they get excited, they want to stick around. The more girls we have, the more likely we are to actually be able to build a girls team that stays with it and stays into the older years of ball. So past getting them up into majors and minors, and then still having an all girls team. So we had lots of girls there that I don't even think of. Some of them had never even thrown a ball before in their life, and they were so excited. And one of the things we were able to give everybody was a baseball with the Girls with Game logo on it. So when they were done with the camp, they'd be able to continue practicing and playing because they have their own ball. So giving these girls, when they signed in, their kind of swag bag with the ball, and we had some really cool stickers that have a girl swinging a bat. So very similar to the MLB logo that's on the back of all the hats and helmets. We make our own sticker.
Oh, cool.
And we give it to those girls, and we're like, hey, if you want, you're more than welcome to put this on the back of your helmet. This is a bit of your representation. This is how we show up. And so just their eyes lighting up and seeing all these pieces and the pieces that were for them, that represent them, I thought was just a nice little touch. And yeah, they get pretty excited. So a lot of happy girls out there.
I can only imagine. This sounds like it's really become a point of pride for Centennial Little League, hasn't it?
It has. The nice thing about the Girls with Game banner is Centennial has been very supportive. They're super, super supportive. They've, contributed a lot of funds into making things happen, but they're also very understanding that even though we operate under the Centennial Little League banner, that this is not just for Centennial Little League. This is for all girls that play baseball in the city.
And really, you see the success of the different female programs across the province as well. I mean, as a mom, what does that mean to you?
I'll tell you a little anecdote. My husband, my daughters play, and my youngest is still in it. She hasn't aged out yet. She's 17, and she just absolutely loves ball, and she's on a travel ball team. And it's once you get into the travel ball teams, it's definitely a larger investment. And it's interesting too, because as a father of girls, we're both very supportive, but we also have talks every now and then, and it's like, well, how far can she go with this? How much do we want to spend or keep investing into this? And I think there's a lot of parents that kind of see that, because there isn't a ton of places for girls to go in the collegiate world right now. Right now. We're talking just right now. But what I want to see is everybody having that ability, that we're not limiting what the girls do based on those opportunities, that there can be more opportunities and that they keep coming around for them. So it's interesting. As a mom, I always want to be realistic, but I still want to support my children, and I want to support their dreams and what they want to do. So I think part of that is also kind of helping create space for that. So as a mom, I feel a lot of pride in helping push forward for all girls that are playing in baseball. And then, also hoping that maybe one day my daughter, when she looks back on it, and if she has kids and I have grandkids or daughters that play ball, that maybe there's a bit of change for them.
I'm a big believer in, if you can see it, you can be it. And we've seen a lot of things happen in different sports, whether it's the PWHL as an example, or the WNBA is making some headway again in terms of that involvement. Women's soccer has made a big baseball. We've got a professional ball league starting up next year with all, as long as everything goes according to plan. We've got, the Canada Summer Games as an example. Female baseball is part of that for the first time this year. How important is it in your eyes to make sure that there are those things to look up to, or those aspirations and those people that the young girls can look up to and say, hey, I want to be that one day?
That's so important for us. With the Girls of the Game, we already recognize and see that. So like, just as an example, at our event, we had our coaching staff was all females. So in previous years, we've had a lot of males that have come in, and not that males aren't, great at coaching and helping out with the women, but I think it's a representation piece. We also send out we have people sign up for a once monthly newsletter. It's called the Curveball Chronicles, and it just tells anybody anything that's happening in women's baseball in Alberta. So any camps, any events, any leagues, anything that's running, we really want to focus on emphasizing getting more females umpiring and also getting more females coaching. So we have a large emphasis on sharing when there's coaching classes for other women or moms or parents or anybody, females that want to help volunteer for that. Same with the umpiring and managing some of the other pieces in either baseball or little league, because it is important. You hit the nail on the head with the see her, be her. Those little girls, when they showed up and they had all female coaches, it was just like, oh wow, it's so exciting. They connect, and it's a whole different piece that really shows them somewhere that they can be if they continue in it. So I think it's really exciting and really important to have a lot of that representation too, even at the younger levels. So volunteer coaches, and then with what we're seeing coming down the line professionally.
Kind of important too. I was chatting with a couple of different people earlier on in the week, and you off record as well. Is it's not that you have a massive background in baseball either, right? Like, you can get involved in whether it's at the board level or whether you want to try coaching or that kind of thing, and you don't necessarily need to be 30 years in ball, kind of thing, right?
100%. I wish I could say I'm like an expert in ball and I played, years as a child. I didn't. And my kids got into it after a family reunion of a friendly softball game that they just thought was the greatest thing in the world. So I think you can get in at any time. I think there's always the ability to learn. And I think as long as you have a passion for what you're doing and an excitement and, a care and a concern to kind of help better things for the kids that are playing, it's a great opportunity to get in. Like, even sometimes just pitch counting or scorekeeping. Sometimes I notice even on the lower levels on the field, it's like the guys are doing it all. Well, we can step in. They're easy bits to do, and it shows that, empowers women that we're doing those pieces too.
Absolutely. A couple more for you before we let you go. First off, having been able to look at it from the 20,000-foot view, in a sense, with the board, is there anything that comes to mind that you think could be done better or done more of, that we could move the game forward in your eyes?
I think sometimes people kind of set a goal and they maybe sit there. Like, I've heard from some, again, we work with all of the associations in terms of sharing, promoting utilization of fields. We work together a lot with a lot of the associations. And sometimes some of the feedback that we get is like, oh, we've rostered a girls team, maybe we'll sit this one out already. When I think that the mentality of like, okay, we've already hit this benchmark. We're good to kind of settle for a bit. I think we don't need to set those kind of benchmarks. I think we just got to keep growing. If there's room, let's make more teams. If there's people that want to play, let's get them going, rather than kind of being like, oh no, we've got a girls team. That's enough. Or we have a lot of girls registered already. I don't think there's a number that's enough. I think let's open it up for as many people that want to play. So I think keeping an open mind to either rostering larger girls teams or making some more space or even interlocking the teams, I think is one of the ways that, looking from an outside view is kind of a different way that we could perceive it.
For sure. Fantastic stuff. Well, the final question we ask everybody here on the show, Kimberley, what does the game of baseball mean to you?
I like baseball because it's kind of an individual sport while being a team sport at the same time. Your statistics are kind of always kept in the background. Your batting average, those pieces, they're kind of a singular sport piece in a way, but it's also a large team sport. What it really means to me is camaraderie and forming a group of people that you have their back and work towards. So one of the pieces I like, boy or girl, is, when you're on a team, you're part of that team and you have a place that you belong. And I think all kids need a place that they belong in baseball or any sport. And I think it's something that really kind of fuels my ambition to keep pushing forward, is just making space where kids feel safe, heard, and are having fun.
You've been doing a fantastic job of that with girls with Game YYC and making an impact on the game across the province. Kimberley, really appreciate you taking the time. Congrats on all the success. Best of luck this summer. And again, thanks so much for joining us here on the show.
Thanks so much, Joe. Appreciate it.
From the organizational side to the players now, and as mentioned, it's been a big week with both Baseball Alberta and Baseball Saskatchewan unveiling their rosters for the upcoming Canada Summer Games in St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador. It's the first time ever female baseball is being included in the games, and it's been a long time coming, to be frank. We'll start in Alberta with rising star Ara Siemens, who is also fresh off being named the Baseball Alberta 14U Player of the Year. The Calgary native helped the province win gold at the 14U Westerns last summer, hitting .412 with 10 RBI. She also went 1-0 on the mound with 7 strikeouts. Ara, thanks so much for joining us here on the show.
Thanks for having me.
First off, congratulations on being named to Baseball Alberta's Canada Summer Game Squad. First off, how did you find out about it?
So we went to tryouts, and then after the second tryouts, about 2 or 3 days after, I got a phone call from Chris, the head coach. Told me I made the team. So.
And what went through your mind when you found out?
I was pretty excited. It's going to be a really fun experience with all the girls on that team.
Well, and you've played with a lot of these girls before. Tell us a little bit about that squad. Like some of the you've got some familiar names there. What kind of squad are you? Scrappy, you talented, a mix of both? In your eyes, what do you see?
We got a lot of really good players on that team. They're like super nice, all like great ball players, all super good athletes.
This is the first time that girls baseball is being included in the summer games. How special is it for you to be on that first team?
I mean, it's like pretty amazing. I would have never thought that when I first started baseball, this is going to be where I ended up. So I think it's a great opportunity for girls playing baseball.
Let's talk about your baseball past here. You said when you first started, you never thought you'd end up here. How did you get into baseball in the first place?
My dad's always been very into baseball. And then my brother started playing baseball. And I got into it too. So signed up a couple years after my 2 older brothers. Did baseball from there.
Very cool. Is it all baseball all the time in your life right now, or are you still playing other sports?
I play a little bit of school sports, but yeah, mostly just baseball.
And what is it about baseball that makes you go, this is the game I want to chase and I want to play?
It's just super fun. Like, it teaches you so many lessons about life, and I don't know, it's just really fun.
Absolutely. You're coming off a heck of a season to boot for yourself, capped by being named Baseball Alberta's 14U Player of the Year as well. Looking back on that, how cool was it to win that award?
It was, I don't know. There was a lot of other girls on the team that I could have gone to. We had a really good team that year, and it was just pretty great that I got to experience that and get that.
Looking back on the year that you had, any favorite memories or moments on the field where you kind of had to take that step back and go, this is pretty darn cool?
I think when we won gold for 14U, obviously, and then I also played on the 16U team at Nationals, and after we won semis and I knew we were heading to the finals game, that was another moment where I was just like, this is amazing.
You've been able to rep Alberta a couple of times here. Walk us through what goes through your mind when you walk into the clubhouse or you walk into the dugout and there's your hat, there's your jersey. I mean, this is something you've probably been working for a while. Here's getting the chance to represent Alberta.
Yeah, it's just amazing to play on that team. It's like makes me super proud that I've been able to be there for those years.
Absolutely. What are your goals and aspirations? What do you you have anything on the bucket list, the things that you want to get done over the next few years here?
Well, making this team was one of those big goals for me this year. And I think making the national team for Canada, that's definitely on there.
Did you have many young athletes that you grew up idolizing or watching play in the game?
Well, there's the obvious guys in the MLB that I looked up to, like Vladdy or Bobichette. And when I was in 4th grade, my class won this thing to go to a field trip where we got to meet a bunch of the Jays, and I got to meet Kevin Biggio, and he was one of the role models that helped me with my first steps in my baseball career.
Very cool. Couple more for you before we let you go, Ara. First off, let's say there are some young girls out there listening and they want to be like you one day. They want to rep Alberta, or they want to dream towards Baseball Canada as an example. Do you have any advice for them or things that you'd love to say to those younger girls?
Believe in yourself. Don't let anybody push you down, and just keep working hard.
Some great pieces of advice. And the final one, it's one we ask everybody here on the show. What does the game of baseball mean to you?
So much. It's teamwork, and just having confidence in yourself and trusting yourself and your teammates. It's my favorite sport ever.
That is awesome. Well, Ara, really, really appreciate you taking the time to chat with us. Congratulations on all the success you've had to this point. Continued success as you represent Alberta and beyond. And again, thanks so much for joining us here on the show.
Yeah, thank you.
We head east to hear from baseball Sask rising star Victoria Bateman. She too has a long history of playing for the provincial programs, winning the 2023 Female Player of the Year after being named the Defensive Player of the tournament at the 21U Women's Nationals. The Regina native is excited for the opportunity to head east and rep her province again. Victoria, thanks so much for joining us here on the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me today.
Congratulations, first off, on being named to Team Sask for the Canada Summer Games. How did you find out first?
I believe I just got a phone call from Tyson, who's the head coach, and yeah, I kind of went from there.
What went through your mind when you got that call?
Just honestly pure excitement. I mean, it's pretty awesome to be able to compete at Canada Summer Games, kind of mini Olympics, right? So it's just kind of excitement, really.
Mm-hmm. What's it mean to you knowing that you're going to be on the first Team Sask to play in those games?
I don't know, just kind of showing up, showing them what we got, and kind of just trying to inspire others.
Mm-hmm. Is that something that you've had in the back of your mind for a while? Hey, I want to be a part of that one day?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I wasn't ever sure if I was going to be able to actually go and attend a Canada Summer Games. So being able to is just honestly dream come true.
You know a lot of the girls on that team already. How would you describe that team? Are you gritty? Are you really super talented? You got great pitching. How do you personify that squad?
Oh, yeah, it's great. I think just the team culture kind of is just great. I mean, we're all really close to each other, and we've got a lot of talent. Really, it's really awesome. It's a great group of girls.
Absolutely. Looking ahead a little bit, do you have any goals or expectations of yourself going into it, or are you kind of just hey, you know what, let's enjoy the moment and see how it goes?
I mean, definitely to enjoy the moment. That's one of the big things. But, I mean, trying to be competitive when we go there and hopefully come back with something and kind of meet new people, enjoy the experience, and just really, take it in.
It's kind of cool. You mentioned it's sort of like a mini Olympics to a certain extent, because you got not just baseball like you usually do with tournaments like that. It's a big tournament with a lot of different sports involved. How excited are you for the opportunity to maybe meet some people from other sports, and not just from Sask, but across the country?
Oh, I'm super excited. I think we'll kind of all be staying in dorms, I think. So you'll be able to kind of talk to other people from different provinces, different sports. It'll be awesome.
Absolutely. Let's get into your baseball past here a little bit, Victoria. How did you get into baseball in the first place?
Well, it's kind of run through my family. So my grandpa and my dad both played, and then I have two other older brothers who played. So I guess that kind of got the ball moving with me playing baseball. For
sure. Was it all baseball all the time in your house, or are you multi-sport athlete?
Oh, no. Our household was definitely multi-sport. My brothers and I all played soccer and hockey for a while. Yeah.
Do you have any baseball idols or athletes that you look up to?
No, I wouldn't say any specific ones. I mean, my dad and my grandpa definitely influenced me quite a bit.
That's fantastic. When did it turn for you? When did it go from, hey, this is a fun sport and all, to, hey, I could do something with this. Maybe I can chase some dreams here.
honestly, probably when I made my first Team Sask team in 2022, I believe. Kind of, yeah, it was exciting knowing how far I could really go in this sport other than just playing with my friends in baseball Regina.
You've had a pretty good run with baseball Sask as well. You were the female player of the year in 2023 after an outstanding national championship where you won a defensive award. What did it mean to you to have that kind of season and get those awards?
I mean, it was just incredible, just kind of all the hard work and support kind of paying off. And, I didn't really go there and thought of anything, just went out there and played my heart out, trying to help Team Sask.
Looking back on the young career to this point, any favorite memories or moments on the field where you kind of had to take that step back and go, okay, that was pretty cool?
Probably last year when the U19 women's team won silver at the U21 women's nationals. That was a pretty unreal moment. I mean, we beat Quebec in a pretty close game, and they're a great team. So, I mean, it was just kind of unbelievable.
How good is that crew of girls, right? Like when you think about all the medals that you've been able to accumulate over the last couple of years, and the fact that you're a fairly young team in doing this, what do you think about that kind of opportunity in front of you?
I think it's really good. I mean, since we're such a young team, we'll all grow together too. So we'll just keep growing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We all know baseball is a game of failure, and I say girls and women face some tougher challenges aside from the balls and strikes side of things. Looking back on it, or even what you're dealing with now, what's been maybe the biggest challenge you've had to overcome?
I mean, probably just kind of finding opportunities, I guess. I mean, there's a lot of opportunities opening up, but just for universities and kind of post-secondary, trying to kind of finding the right fit and wanting to keep continuing to play baseball at a higher level, just maybe not as far as like South Florida almost, just kind of more opportunities in Canada for women's baseball.
Mm-hmm. Have you found the acceptance level to change a little bit too? I mean, it used to be, it's a boys' game and that kind of thing. Do you find that there's less of that nowadays?
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's definitely becoming more of a norm for females to get more into baseball. I know Regina has their Ravens League and Saskatoon has the Royals, so it's definitely being more accepted now.
That's awesome to hear. A couple more for you before I let you go and enjoy the summer that's before you. But let's say there's a young girl out there who might be listening into this and they want to be like you one day. What advice would you love to tell them?
I mean, just keep playing it. It's an awesome game. You meet awesome people. And if you find the right team, you can go a long way with it.
Well, you've certainly done that in spades, Victoria. Final question. It's one we ask everybody here on the show. What does the game of baseball mean to you?
Means everything, honestly. Just, I don't know. It's kind of like a second home, I guess. It's kind of where I go when, I don't know, it's what I do when I don't have much to do or I just kind of need to get stuff off my mind. So, yeah, it's kind of always there for me.
It has been, and it's been good to you, and you've been good to the game as well, Victoria. Congratulations on all the success you've had at this point. Congratulations on being named to Team Sask. Continued success this summer and beyond. And again, thanks so much for joining us here on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And our final guest this week has also been a staple for baseball in Saskatchewan over the years. Lauren Owens had an illustrious playing career at a variety of events, including the 16U Nationals in 2017 and the 21U Nationals in 2023. She turned her attention to coaching and was recognized for her work in the women's game by sharing the Joe McDonald Special Award of Merit in 2024 with Ethan Ginther and Tyson Black. The Saskatoon native is excited about what's to come for female baseball in the province.
Lauren, thanks so much for joining us here on the show.
Yeah, no, I'm glad to come and talk.
You've had quite the journey in baseball, so let's start at the very beginning here. How did you get into the game in the first place?
You know what? It was my dad. My dad and his family, huge Blue Jays fans. He was the one who got, me and my brother both into it. I tried softball for a year, and that was not it. I loved baseball. And ever since. Like, I wasn't even good at the start. I was actually really bad. But something about the game, I just loved it and couldn't get away from it.
Was it all baseball all the time in your house, or were you one of those multi-sport kids growing up?
Growing up, it was mostly baseball. I did dabble in the hockey a bit, and I also did Irish dance for a bit too. But yeah, once I hit about like age 14, it was just baseball.
Very cool. Was there a moment in your memory where it kind of flipped for you, where it went from, hey, this is a fun game and all, to, hey, maybe I can chase the dream a little bit here?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like when I was 14, that's when the like girls program really started to pick up a bit. I wasn't so sure about it at first. I was kind of like, I was skeptical, didn't know if this was really going to go anywhere. But then I went to my first Westerns, and I was like, hey, this is kind of cool, playing against all these other girls. And I didn't know that there were even like national opportunities. We had this 16U team at the first time in a long time in 2016 to Ontario. And I was, again, only 14 at the time, and seeing how much bigger it could get just outside of Western Canada, I didn't realize that, there's so many girls that are playing. And, I wanted to be a part of that community.
Mm-hmm. When you go look back in time with the Wayback Machine, what was the dream in your eyes as a 14-year-old kid?
I think the dream was just to play as long as I could. Of course, now we have like a lot more opportunities. But when I was 14, there wasn't much. It was just keep playing at nationals, keep enjoying it, and see how far I can get. If I can, get good enough to make Team Canada, that's great. But honestly, I just dreamt to do well for Saskatchewan.
Mm-hmm. Looking back on the playing career in particular, do you have any highlights or favorite moments where you had to kind of take that step back and go, I can't believe I get to do this?
I think the biggest highlight was last year at the Senior Nationals in Quebec City. We were in the quarterfinal game against Ontario, and we were doing well. We were struggling a little bit, but I came into pitch, and I kind of totally shut Ontario down, and our offense picked it up, and it was a crazy walk-off game. It was insane. I've never felt so hyped, like, after a game. I didn't fall asleep until, like, 2 a.m. that night. I was just so excited. But, yeah, that was never a moment I thought I would achieve to be, but it is something I think about a lot, even just, like, daily almost. It's just a feeling, you can't forget.
Speaking of repping the green and gold, do you remember the first time you saw your jersey, your hat, and you got to step foot on the field as a member of Team Sask?
Yes, actually. That would have been the 2015 Westerns. Again, I was like 13, 14. I was originally cut from that team, and then some parents, I guess, were like, no, like, she deserves to be on this team, and we're talking to the coach, and they're like, okay, we'll bring her. We need another catcher anyways. I was a left-handed catcher at that point. And I wasn't expecting to play, getting cut out, just kind of there for moral support. And then halfway through the first game, the coach was like, oh, yeah, you're going in the catch. And I was so excited. I was, like, scrambling around trying to find my catching equipment. I didn't know I was going to go in. And, that was a super exciting moment for me.
Conversely, we talk about baseball being a game of failure, and especially in girls and women's ball, you have some extra hurdles to overcome. So what was maybe the biggest challenge that you had to overcome to get to where you wanted to be?
I think one of the biggest things is, like, yeah, of course, being a girl in baseball, earning the respect, even from your own teammates sometimes, was always difficult to do. It's taken more seriously now, but back when I was a kid, it was tough. And I know that some of my teammates have had it tougher than me, coming from small towns, but and it was hard. The coaches, they don't really see you as someone who can go out there and pitch for a good game, or they just kind of put you in the outfield because they don't think that you have the skill to be in the infield, or they put you at the bottom order because they don't think you can hit it as good as the other guys. But I think, throughout those seasons, once they can kind of see, oh, okay, yeah, you can actually play ball. It sucks that we have to go through that, but it's not uncommon that, you have to earn it a lot harder than, some of the boys.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned that we've come a long way, even in the, let's say, 10 years here. What do you think has changed? What's been sort of the TSN turning point, so to speak, in your eyes?
That's something I've been thinking about a lot. I think there's just this shift in attitude with women's sports. I think even with like the WNBA becoming more popular, like women's college basketball becoming more popular, the PWHL, I think it's starting to shift the attitude towards women's sports, like especially in the male-dominated sports, that women can play too, and that attitude shift is helping the girls program in Saskatchewan, especially, like increase their population, increase the amount of players we have, and people are willing to go after it now as something that can be lifelong.
I'm curious if this is kind of the back to the future question I like asking sometimes, is if you could go back in time and talk to 14-year-old Lauren and give some advice that present day Lauren knows now, what would it be?
That's a great question. I think it would really just be like, work hard and you'll get to where you want to be. And as well, like, don't be afraid to go and make relationships with these players that you go and meet. Like, I love to meet, like now, I especially playing first base, I love to socialize with anyone who comes on first base from the other team. And it's something I kind of regret not doing sooner, is building like relationships with other teams more and other programs. But yeah, just work hard and build those relationships. We all kind of have the same story to a certain extent, and it's just a really great community to have.
You've been able to now transition into the world of coaching. Was that always something on the top of your mind, or is that something that you after a few years said, I could do that too?
Honestly, it was kind of something I was looking forward to. In my last year on the 16U team, during our last game, our coach actually let me read the lineup for everyone. He kind of handed that torch to me a little bit there, and it meant a lot. And yeah, I took a few years off of baseball during COVID, and then I was kind of like, you know what, I need to get back into it, and coaching was where I landed. And I love doing it. I love seeing people get better. I love seeing the improvement. And it's something I really dedicate to myself to now.
It's fantastic to watch. Do you have any big coaching philosophies or things that you make sure you're always passing along to some of the players, given that you have that experience and you've been in their shoes before?
Yeah, like one of the biggest things I bring up is don't be so hard on yourself. I've had those moments where, you make an error, you strike out, whatever, and you get in your head. But like the biggest thing, I talk about it almost at every practice, is just go get the next one. Like, there's no point in, suffering over this mistake that's now in the past. You're good enough. You're a good baseball player. If you, like, especially when I coach these baseball Saskatchewan teams, it's always, if you weren't good, then we probably wouldn't be here. But you're a good baseball player. You work hard. You're going to go get the next one.
Some great advice. You were named one of the 3 winners of the Joe McDonald Special Award of Merit in 2024 for your contributions to the game in Saskatchewan. What did that mean to you?
I was very honored when I got the email that I was going to be one of the 3 receiving that award. Especially the people who nominated us, it meant a lot from them to be recognized. I wasn't expecting it at all, but to be recognized for time and effort that we put into this program and where it's coming to, it meant a lot. And also to be awarded that with 2 of the coaches, Tyson Black and Ethan Ginther. We spent a lot of time with each other on the diamond, so it was really great, and I really appreciated it.
Tell me a little bit about that dynamic between the 3 of you, because I've talked to different people who've said that you three have really become a really cohesive team in terms of really trying to elevate the female game in the province, and also just sort of elevating the players' level of play. What works for the three of you?
Well, it means a lot to hear that we look cohesive. But I started coaching with Tyson and Ethan in 2023, and it's just our coaching styles mesh together really well. We're always almost on the same page about where we want this program to go, which is up, and we're always trying to be better and help people do better. And like I said, we're just always on the same page about wanting everyone to be better.
A couple of higher arching kinds of questions for you. First off, we kind of alluded to it earlier. We were talking about the improvement of maybe the mindset of people, but what are we doing really well right now in the female game, particularly in Saskatchewan and maybe across Canada?
I think what Saskatchewan's doing really well right now is promoting the girls' baseball. I think especially Baseball Saskatchewan, we've had a few events now. We had a couple weekends ago, we had that 12U Girls Jamboree. And I think it's just been really good to get the girls' baseball community together and show how the numbers that we have, and to have the the Team Saskatchewan girls coach and show them, this is what you can strive for. As well, I think our recent performances at Nationals showing that we are competitive in the country extremely. We medaled at the 21U Nationals last year. We're not just, girls on a ball field playing for fun. This is real competitive baseball.
On the flip side of that, what can we do better?
I still think there's a long way to go with, increasing our girls' baseball population. And that comes with, a lot of other things, like more events, more promotion. Ultimately, there's a lot of things that need to, happen still. Trying to come up with a more specific answer, I can't really right now, but sky's the limit, honestly. Whatever we can come up with, we're going to do, and we're going to try and keep making the program better.
Speaking of sky being the limit, we obviously have the Canada Summer Games coming up. We have the Pro Women's Baseball League coming up in 2026. Even you mentioned the national or the provincial teams, for example. How important is it in your eyes to be able to elevate the game, especially for those girls, so that they can, and I'm a big believer in this, if you can see it, you can be it?
Yeah, no, it's huge. Like I said, when we had that jamboree where we had people from the women's team coaching, I didn't have that when I was younger. There were one or two girls that I knew that had played, Team Canada, but you didn't see them very often, and that was about it. But now we have these events where these, little girls can come meet, these people who have been to nationals, who have been on Team Canada, and they can come and interact with them. And I think that's huge, to have someone to look up to like that, where, a lot of us when we were younger, we were on our own, just kind of, chasing our own dreams, not having a role model. But, I really appreciate that the, girls from the women's team go out and interact with some of our younger players, because it really is huge for them.
Absolutely. One more question I've got for you, Lauren. It's one we ask everybody here on the show. What does the game of baseball mean to you?
Now, baseball, to me, it's really just a kind of a love relationship I have. It's a separate romantic relationship for me that I, put in the time for, and it helps me, build my own character, helps me stay active, and it's something, I just really, really, really love, and love to do it, love to coach it, love to play it. It's amazing.
Well, it's been amazing getting to hear a little bit about your journey as well, Lauren. Congratulations on all the success to this point, both as a player and now as a coach. Continued success with Baseball Sask and beyond. And again, thanks so much for joining us here on the show.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks again to Tracy McEachern, Kimberley Jordan, Ara Siemens, Victoria Bateman, and Lauren Owens for joining us this week. And thanks to all of you for downloading and listening. We also want to thank you for supporting our celebration of National Girls in Baseball Week, and we hope this turns into an annual event. We look forward to sharing more stories from these conversations and more in the coming days, weeks, months, and of course, years. A tip of the cap, as always, to our Platinum supporters, the Okotoks Dogs, Western Canadian Baseball League, and Under the Lights Sports and Entertainment for their generosity in helping us tell the game stories. Their sponsorships help us cover costs like web hosting fees, travel, and swag. To join our tremendous team, head to albertadugoutstories.com/supporters. Until next time, thank you for all of your support online, on social, and on air of Alberta Dugout Stories.